Even if you're not a gardener, poison ivy in your yard can be a really big problem. And it's something that spreads easily with birds, so it can crop up at any time in anyone's garden. So it's good to know how to identify the plant. Now, you probably remember the old saying, leaflets 3, let it be. So that's the first thing you want to look for, the group of 3 leaflets. You'll notice that the stems seem to be a bit reddish. Now, in early spring, the leaves are not really shiny. They develop a very shiny coat, especially in sunny areas, over summer. So it's best to do your spraying and control while the leaves aren't shiny, because they'll shed your control spray more quickly if they're shiny. But groups of 3 leaflets, there's a lot of variation in terms of size on the plant. Sometimes there will be small and big leaves on the same plant, so the size of the leaf really doesn't have a lot to do with it. It can be a vine, and it will grow up in trees if it has the support of trees nearby, or it will grow like a shrub or even like a ground cover in areas where there's nothing close by to attach to. In the late summer, it develops inconspicuous white flowers, and then later on white waxy berries that the birds love, so they tend to spread at places. But the berries, the stems, the vines, all parts of it are poisonous. Even when it loses its leaves in the winter, the branches, the vines are actually poisonous too, and contain the oil or shuihol that, when in contact with the skin, causes the irritation. And that oil can be washed off the skin quickly, and so you won't get the problems with it. Now, burning poison ivy can cause big problems too. If you inhale the oil in the smoke, it can cause the irritation and rash in the lungs, and that can be very dangerous. Now, some plants that look like poison ivy and are not. One is the hop tree here. This tends to be a low bush plant native to this area, and has little wafers on it that are the seeds. Groups of 3 leaves, but not the reddish stem. Now, with poison ivy too, it can be a smooth leaf like the hop tree, or it can be toothed, or it can be lobed. All of those types of poison ivy are common, so the leaves can vary greatly from area to area. Another plant that looks similar because it has the reddish stem is the Virginia creeper, and it tends to be a vine too. It's a great native plant for shady locations. Another vine is the cowwitch vine, has a lobed leaf that looks similar, but doesn't cause the rash. Now, if you do get the rash, there's a great cleanser, and actually there are several out there. I've used this one for a long time. It's Technu cleanser, and if you put this on when you get the oil on your skin, it will take the oil off your skin. And if you do it quickly, between 2 to 8 hours after contact with the oil, you won't even develop the rash. So this is a great thing to keep on hand all the time. Another thing that I found works very well is clay, either white clay or green clay. If you get to the point where you have the rash and the blisters, don't pop the blisters, just put a layer of clay mixed with water just to make a paste, and then put that on the rash, let it dry, rinse it with cool water, and keep doing that even 5 or 6 times a day until you pull that oil off the skin, and that relieves the irritation and clears it up quickly. If you're removing poison ivy, you want to make sure I wear double gloves, and then I take them off inside out, put them in a plastic bag. For just a sprig or 2, you could even put a plastic bag over your hand, pull up the plant, pull the bag over your hand, and then to close that up and put it in the garbage. I also use a recipe mixing vinegar, and it can be 10% vinegar with orange oil, and I'll use just vinegar, orange oil, and a little bit of soap. No water in this recipe, so 10% vinegar, a gallon of that, with a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup of orange oil. I'll use more orange oil if it's late summer and the plants have a lot of waxy coating. About a tablespoon or 2 of soap, mix that up in a pump sprayer, spray it on the plants, and that will take care of the poison ivy. Now, you may need to resprout, you may need to retreat if it resprouts at the base, but that will take care of the poison ivy. So I hope you can get rid of that in your garden. For Backyard Basics, I'm Trisha Shirey. Good luck in all your gardening endeavors.